Los Angeles. It's the Tom Leykis Show. And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No! I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it at 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. Here we are together again on the radio. The story of Rush Limbaugh brings to mind something that it's time for us to talk about. Discussed it from time to time in the past. But it's really a good opportunity to talk about this again. There's all this talk about whether or not we should have empathy or sympathy for drug users. They need our compassion, people will tell us. And I have a very different take on this. And I say this as somebody who had 3 cousins, all brothers, all of whom were heroin addicts. All of them. All 3 of them. One of them died of AIDS, which is a common problem for heroin addicts. So I'm speaking from experience here with people I know and care about. I do not believe that drug users need compassion. Drug addicts are generally some of the most dishonest and uncompassionate people on earth. They don't care about anybody but themselves. They are completely selfish. They are not worried about what effect their addiction will have on anybody. Many of them will steal from you. Many of them will lie to you, like Rush Limbaugh, hiding pills in his golf bag or whatever. And I happen to believe that we now, for going on our 3rd generation, have been educating the public about the dangers of addictive drugs. Now, conservatives like Rush Limbaugh love talking about how they want less government and they believe that people should be responsible for their actions, what have you. Well, you know what? I'm not a conservative. In fact, I don't belong to a political party at all. I'm really not a political guy. But here's what I think. I believe all drugs should be legal. And then we provide the proper education as we're doing now. And if you want to stick a needle in your arm, baby, have at it. If you want to pop pills, great. If you do it while you're driving, we'll arrest you the way we'd arrest you if you were driving drunk. If you have an accident, you'll pay for it. Frankly, I think insurance companies should be able to charge you more once they find out you're a drug addict. In fact, I think that's the way it should be anyway. Ultimately, though, if you are just after having been educated and after having been schooled and after having been shown the difference between one drug and another, as we do with kids now in schools all across America, once you've been educated, and once your parents sign, like, let's say, a release form or a document saying you have been to class, you understand, you know about drugs, once we know you've been educated, my opinion, that's it. Done. There will be no further, forget education. We're not going to rehab you. We're not going to go easy on you. We're just going to let you rot. And that's what I think we ought to be doing. What a powerful way to get people not to become addicted if they know that society is not going to run in and help them. I don't believe we should be helping people who are drug addicted at all. Now, it's my guess Rush Limbaugh is not on a government program. It's my guess that he is at some expensive rehab center. So it really isn't an issue for Rush. But even so, Rush Limbaugh knew better. And Rush Limbaugh with a $285 million radio contract, could afford to get all of the best minds to help him with his pain issues, to help him if he felt he was becoming addicted, to monitor his progress. He had all the resources anyone could want at his disposal. But instead of using those resources properly, he took the coward's way out. He took the easy way out. He took the selfish way out. He took the inconsiderate way out. And he kept popping more and more pills. I have no compassion for drug addicts. And I don't believe you should either. I think if you are on a self-destructive course, that's where you should be left. Now, that's personal responsibility. And it is amazing to me to see all the conservatives on TV coming to Rush's defense. These are all the people who are behind these zero-tolerance laws, where if they find a marijuana seed in your ashtray, they take your car away. You know about that. These are the guys behind it. These are the guys behind making laws against getting controlled substances without a prescription as harsh a penalty as buying crack on the street. These are the guys who did it. These are the guys who said we can't tolerate this stuff and 3 strikes you're out. These are the guys. How in the world can they suddenly do a 180 and start saying, oh, well, he's courageous and we need to give him our support? Shut up. Shut up. Rush Limbaugh never was supportive of anybody who had a drug problem. Ever, ever, ever. The difference between me and Rush Limbaugh, not only, well, we have one thing in common. I don't believe in having compassion for drug addicts, but I also don't believe in putting them in prison. I believe in giving them mountains of drugs and then saying, have at it. And then when you because believe me, the price of drugs, once they're legal, will drop to nothing. And then if you choose to do something stupid like put a needle in your arm, you're on your own. Why anybody would feel sympathy or empathy for Rush Limbaugh is beyond me. It doesn't make any sense. But for me, it's not just Rush Limbaugh. I don't feel that way for any drug addict. I've seen what happens to people when they are addicted to drugs. Drugs they knew were addictive, but they went ahead anyway and did it. Whether it's from prescription or whether it's from just going down the block and meeting your local heroin dealer, I have seen it close up. It's one of the main reasons I never put a needle in my own arm. One of the main reasons, and there's a long list of reasons why I never did it, is because I knew heroin addicts as a kid. I grew up in the South Bronx. I saw it. And there are lots and lots of addictive drugs out there, lots of them, and we know which ones they are. So, no, I don't feel compassion. I don't. Not for Rush Limbaugh, not for anybody who does this. I'd like to be Mrs. Rush Limbaugh and find out that Rush has had this hidden addiction. I'd like to be that. What's going on there? Yikes. I mean, there's more shoes that are going to drop. Well, we heard the National Enquirer this week will have another shoe dropping regarding Rush Limbaugh. But I love how all the conservatives are saying, well, now this will be a good way to have a good dialogue. I heard this. I heard this on some of these conservative talk shows. Well, what's happening with Rush now, it's a good opportunity to have a good dialogue about what we do with people who are addicted to drugs. You know what? The reason we don't have a good dialogue about that is because conservatives like these morons have been on television and radio telling you that we should throw everybody in the clink for using drugs, that we should go after them and put them in prison for years and years and zero-tolerance policies. That's why we don't have a dialogue. They went and passed all these laws, and now when one of their own turns out to be an addict, all of a sudden, now we're going to have a good dialogue. We needed a good dialogue 20 years ago on this. But no, everybody said no, punish, everybody, punish. Spend more. War on drugs. We're going to have a war on drugs. Just say no. Blah, blah, blah. That's all about the conservatives. Just say no came from the wife of Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan. That's where that phrase came from. Please. All these guys now talking about compassion. Shut up. It's not believable. There should be no compassion. None. Take personal responsibility for yourself. 2 words. buck up. Right?
Tom Leykis, 1-800-5800-866.
Nobody's ever going to get this good loving until they do what I want them to do.
Oh, so you're a controlling bitch.
The Tom Leykis Show. Leykis on Hot Talk 1080 KFI.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Don't forget our special offer. I am waiving my huge talent fee that I get to read commercials for any advertiser on the Rush Limbaugh Show on KFI in Los Angeles. All you have to do is call our buddy Dave Severino at KLSX 213-637-5272. You move your advertising over from the Rush Limbaugh Show to the Tom Leykis Show, and I will read your commercial for no talent fee for the next 30 days while Rush is indisposed. It's a great deal for you and, of course, for us. 213-637-5272. You call Dave Severino at KLSX. He will give you all the details of the offer. And it'll be a good opportunity for you to try advertising on the #1 rated afternoon talk show in Los Angeles. Especially in that money demo, baby. I'll tell you what. Nobody has more listeners in the money demo than we do. 1-800-5800-TOM is our number again, by the way, 213-637-5272. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Carney on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Carney?
Hi.
Hi.
I have absolutely no sympathy for Rush. I just got out of rehab myself on Wednesday for the same thing. And I did everything. I completely agree with you. I did everything that you said. I lied, stole, and I never have done any other drugs in my life, but it's the same thing. Might as well be heroin.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a long road ahead of him because 30 days doesn't even necessarily do it. It's going to be a mental thing that's going to go on for months.
Well, once he is detoxed in this facility where he's going, then he's going to rediscover back pain, apparently. And then
Yes.
he's got to figure out what to do about that.
Yeah, and then, and it's not the doctor's fault because if you take the drug as prescribed, you shouldn't become dependent. It's because I like the high, so I just, and then I ended up buying it all online through Florida because something with that state is where you can get the narcotics. I ended up running up $6,000 in 3 months.
And that was without a prescription you did that?
Yeah, you just get it online, and they're all from Florida.
Well, Rush's housekeeper, who, of course, is in Florida, was saying that he was getting FedEx packages all the time.
Yeah, I would get like 6-7 FedEx packages a day at work, and 100 pills in each, like extra strength tablets even, and remortgaged our house without my husband knowing. Just horrible, horrible addiction. But I have no sympathy. I don't have sympathy on myself. It's my fault. I should have taken him as directed. I shouldn't have doctor shopped,
Mm-hmm.
Do I think I deserve jail? No. Mm-hmm. But I have good insurance. I paid for everything myself, but I'm going to be paying back everybody in my life for a long time.
I'm sure you are. Are you married?
I'm married. Yeah, I remortgaged the house without my husband knowing. $6,000 through online pharmacies in about 3-4 months because you have to pay for like the doctor's consultation. You have to pay top dollar for the pills. And I know that they're cracking down on it, so still the DEA could come knocking on my door.
What about your kids? You have kids?
God, no, I'm no kids.
Oh, boy. Okay.
No. I'm 34. Kids aren't in the picture for me, but...
Did this have something to do with that, or was that just another issue?
No, I had back pain originally, and, being that I had good insurance, my doctor, it was kind of a quack doctor, I realize now, but he wanted me to come back, every 3 weeks, and he'd always give me 150 Vicodin, because I had great insurance that paid right away. But if I would have taken it as directed, I got up to 80, 90 pills a day. And that's how I know Rush probably was taking 30, because you build up such a tolerance that it just doesn't end.
Wow.
And and this is something, I've never smoked a cigarette, I've never gotten high, pot, nothing in my life, so I never thought at 34 I would have such a horrible addiction. But I know that being in rehab was difficult, really difficult, and I was at a good center, not with, I have money, so I was at a great center. But if he doesn't want to do it and the public, he's being forced into doing it, it ain't going to work. Because I was forced into doing it 3 times before I finally wanted to do it. How does your husband feel about you after all this? My husband, ironically, is a drug and alcohol counselor. And he's mad. We've only been married 2 years. He caught me finally because I had him hidden all over the house. He finally caught me red-handed taking some pills. And he said he knew it for a while, but, you deny, and then next thing you know, he can only ask me so much. He could tell by my eyes. I was driving, on 80 pills a day, driving around. I mean, I could have killed somebody. I held a job, though. Like, I can see how he could do his job easily. Like, I excelled in my job. How does he feel about you mortgaging the house? I haven't told him yet. I just got out of rehab on Wednesday, and we're still have to tell him. I'm scared to death. I'm scared to death. Holy cow. He doesn't know that yet? He doesn't know. So have you been making payments on this mortgage? Yeah, I have everything sent to work. I got a P.O. box, and I got deferred credit card statements that I got in my name that I have sent to the P.O. box. And, I mean, we're going to be able to pay it off, but I still have to tell him. And I'm scared to death because he's so mad about the pills. You say you'll be able to pay it off. I mean, what do you have, a 15-year mortgage, a 30-year mortgage? How long a mortgage is it? No, I'll pay it off just because we both make good money. Like, I can. Well, if you made such good money, how were you able to, why did you mortgage the house? Because I couldn't get any more credit cards. I had already run up like $15,000 in credit cards, so I figured I'd remortgage the house and pay off the credit cards before he found that out. I was trying to rush it. But after remortgaging the house, I just decided to get more and more pills until, I was practically, 80 to 90 pills a day, and that wasn't even to catch a buzz anymore. That was just to get out of bed and not start having horrible withdrawal symptoms. Wow. But I agree with what you say. It's my own fault. I lied. A friend of mine had a C-section, and I couldn't wait until she left her house so I could get at those Vicodin. Because I knew she had them, and I had a key to her house. So the minute she left, I went and stole her Vicodin. So how do you tell your husband something like this? Have you figured that out yet? Like, what kind of day of the week it would have to be, or under what circumstances? He's a pretty understanding guy. I have a feeling he's on his way home and he listens to you faithfully, so he might already know tonight. But he understands drug addiction because he's a counselor, but when it hits so close to home, I think, I don't know, because he makes more than me. I make good money, but we've only been married not even 2 years. And I don't know how I'm going to tell him. Wow. It was hard enough admitting that how many pills I was on a day and him having to come visit me in the hospital and, they did a 5150 on me, which means they put a hold on me for 72 hours. Oh, my God.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. Tom Leykis. It's the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. Thank you for tuning in. This is Howard on the Tom Leykis Show.
Tom, how are you?
All right, Howard.
Just a comment and a question. I don't necessarily disagree with what you've been saying about how Tom has been Rush has been handling his addiction, nor do I disagree with your general comments about addiction, period. But my problem is I just don't think or believe it's fair of you to act, or at least sound like one of these left-wing individuals or left-wing individuals at the same time, when you knock the right, if you understand what I'm saying.
When I do what?
When you knock the right. Earlier you were knocking the right wingers.
Oh, the right wingers.
Yes.
Well, the only reason again, when you knock a right winger, it does not make you a left. Because I'm not a left winger. I'm a libertarian.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and there's a big difference there.
There is.
Libertarians believe in the things that conservatives say they believe in, but they really don't.
Okay.
Like they want small government.
Okay, that explains that.
Or they want the government off your back.
Mm-hmm.
But then they are in favor of all these draconian laws.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, I see them as hypocrites, and I truly believe in smaller government and personal responsibility.
So do I.
Conservatives only say they believe that, but they really don't. They run up $400 billion deficits.
Well, I don't want to get into a political discussion.
I'm just explaining the difference. Don't characterize me as a left-winger, because that's not what I am.
Oh, I was a little confused. But
Is it clear now?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'd also like to question, rather, is it or is it not true? I remember you once saying on the radio not too long ago that in the earlier days of your career, Rush, he gave you a loan or something.
No. He did not give me a loan. I didn't need a loan. He offered my family, and this is a true story. He offered my family help when my father had cancer. Mm-hmm. That's true. And believe me, I am making a big separation between Rush Limbaugh, the individual I know, and Rush Limbaugh, the cartoon character. And those are two different people. Rush Limbaugh met my parents. I've had dinner with him more than once. The minute I had a syndicated radio show, he disappeared and never called me again. And I had no idea what happened. Now, I chalked it up to, maybe he's just busy. But you know what? I'm busy, too. And I have time to call my friends. So I never really understood why he disappeared. But this has nothing to do with that. I give Rush all the credit in the world for making network radio viable again after 30 years of it being dead. Right. And for making syndicated radio programs like this one possible. The man deserves all the credit in the world for doing that, and for single-handedly saving a number of dying AM radio stations. Right. All right. Believe me, I'm being fair about this. I give him credit where credit is due. But the feelings I have about Rush Limbaugh, the drug addict, and the hypocrite, are more like the feelings I have for my own cousins, who didn't give a rat's ass about what their addictions would do to the family, what it would do to their friends, how we would all have to live on after they died. They didn't care. And Rush doesn't care.
Well, I guess that's a part of addiction, you and I not being addicts, that obviously we'll never understand.
Now, I want to tell you something, pal. I've lived around addicts. One thing I understand about addicts, the last thing they need is compassion. That the reason that they get into that state is because people keep giving them second and third chances. What addicts need is tough love. And I'm saying this because I've seen it in my own family. They need tough love.
Again, like I said earlier, I don't necessarily disagree with you. But my question was, and you basically, you've answered it already. Earlier, you called him an idiot. Now, I don't care what you refer to Rush Limbaugh as, quite frankly, but he wasn't an idiot then when he attempted to help your family.
No, and by the way, he's not an idiot all the time. But popping as many as 30,000 pills? Stupid.
I agree, but it sounds like you're taking this as a personal against yourself.
Well, the reason it's personal is because I have friends and family who've died from stuff like this. And they don't care how you will be affected. They don't think about other people. They only think about themselves. Mm-hmm. That's why I take it personally. And probably another reason I take it personally with Rush Limbaugh is because over a 4-year period, I knew Rush Limbaugh.
Right.
Rush Limbaugh came with me to an L.A. Kings game at the Forum. We ate dinner together. He would call me late at night at home. Mm-hmm. So, of course, and the thing is, I'm not saying this stuff because I want to be mean. I'm saying it because Somebody's got to get tough with Rush Limbaugh. And people have to stop being sycophants and tell him, hey, you're being an idiot.
One more question, Tom, if I may. So one of your concepts of being tough, so to speak, is in an attempt to take his advertisers. Am I right, or am I incorrect on that read?
Well, I'm not doing it to be tough. I'm doing it because it's an opportunity, both for me to make extra money down the line, and it's an opportunity. And you'd have to take those opportunities where they exist. Rush Limbaugh had no qualms about the free enterprise system when his syndicated program replaced approximately 660 broadcasters across the country who used to have local shows in his time slot. It's a cruel, competitive world out there, and that's what free enterprise is all about. Rush Limbaugh knows that as the guy who loves free enterprise. And I'm taking advantage of an opportunity, of course. And by the way, why should advertisers have to live in limbo while Rush Limbaugh is in detox?
No, I don't disagree with you. You're right. It's an opportunity, and I suppose that's part of the American way. Tommy, I have no problem with it, and I'm glad you're up front with your comments.
Howard, thank you for the call. By the way, if you are one of those KFI Rush Limbaugh advertisers in Los Angeles, you can call our buddy Dave Severino. I am foregoing my talent fees for the next 30 days while Rush is out doing rehab. And you can move your advertising dollars right over to our show, and we will be here every day reading your commercials. So if you want to find out more about that, call Dave Severino at KLSX. The number is 213-637-5272.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
My attitude with women, I don't care if you're seeing other guys, because I'm seeing other chicks.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Leykis on Hot Talk 1080.
The Tom Leykis Show. Heather, hello.
Hello.
Yes, Heather.
Hi. I've been listening to your show, and I also listen to Rush's show. And I couldn't help but call in because this is the first time I've actually agreed with you. So I had to call in to say that I listen to your show because it's entertaining as hell, but I listen to Rush's show because I agree with what he says. But this time, he messed up, and he should have told the public. He should have been honest and not been a hypocrite. And even though I'll still listen to his show, when he comes back on, it has changed my opinion of him being an honest person. And I just want to say that you're right on this, and that people need to wake up and realize that he's human and not worship him so much anymore.
Well, there we go, Ralph. I thank you for that. Ralph on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Ralph.
You want to know something? You are the man. Your insight into not only your description of being a libertarian, but also what you just said about Rush Limbaugh was dead on the money, and the drug situation. I really appreciate your compassion towards that, what you have just said, and what you have been saying, and I'm very proud of it.
Thank you for that, Ralph.
So thank you very much, sir.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Mark on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Finally, we agree. I'd like to take what you said one step further. A lot of these drug users, Rush Limbaugh, he's got his money or whatever else, but the average drug user, these people, they lie, they cheat, they steal from family, friends, like that first lady, her mortgage is in trouble now, her husband didn't know. All these people, they change their mind about all these drugs after they're in trouble. My solution is let them take all the drugs they want. If they check out or get off the planet or whatever, good. There's less people for us to deal with.
There you go, and I think that's exactly right. It's survival of the fittest. It's Darwinist.
That's right. That's right. These people just let them take whatever they want. If they end up, with needles stuck in their arm, dead in an alley somewhere, okay, because most of them go back to taking these drugs anyway. Most of them never get off until their lives are so abused and their family just don't want to deal with them anymore. Like you said, they don't understand what they're dealing to their family and friends and neighbors and everything else.
Not to mention the fact that by trying to keep drugs illegal, it increases violent crime.
That's right.
And you know what? I am not willing to sacrifice my safety walking down the street for a bunch of junkies. I'm sorry, including Rush Limbaugh.
I agree. In any city in the world, or like I live in Las Vegas, there are good parts of town and bad parts of town. The reason why they're bad parts of town is because of the drug use. Clean up these bad areas. Get rid of these drug people. Let them have as much as they want. Register as drug users somewhere. Let them take as much as they want, and then just call the coroner.
Mark, thank you. It's Roger on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Great.
First, I'd like to say most of the people I heard commenting about drugs don't know their ass from straight up.
Mm-hmm. I'm
60 years old, man. I've been using drugs all my life as of now. Believe me, I'm not bragging. As far as Rush Limbaugh goes, I have no sympathy for him I have no I mean, whatever he does, he does. One thing I would like to say that I think maybe you're a little bit wrong about is that, okay, certainly I don't know the man like you do, but it does make a lot of difference what kind of drugs he was using. I mean, like I said, you know him a lot better than I do, so possibly you know what kind of drugs he was using. Now, if they were filling him full of number 3 codeines, well, he wasn't taking any drugs. You know what I mean? All he was taking was a glorified aspirin. Now, if they had him take...
Well, guess what? People like Rush Limbaugh don't believe in differentiating between crack and heroin.
There is a big difference.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Rush Limbaugh, on his program, called for very strict measures, putting drug users in prison. That's what he called for. And he didn't differentiate. He didn't say, let's put the crack users in prison, and let's put the Vicodin abusers into treatment. He didn't say that. These are the people who advocated zero tolerance.
But like I said, if he was getting triplicate prescriptions from some doctor, which with all the money that he's got, he could probably have gotten just about any kind of drugs that he did want to get. You know what I mean?
I know.
He wouldn't have to take no heroin because pharmaceutical drugs are much better than whatever you can get on the street,
right.
That's for sure.
Well, plus the drugs he was taking, supposedly, were of the opiate family anyway. That's the deal. Got to run, Roger. Thank you.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
You have a vagina?
Yes.
And you're telling me you have a hard time finding somebody to fill it?
No. Not at all.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll have sex with you tonight.
Did you want to talk to my boyfriend?
I don't want to talk to him for. I'm negotiating with you right now.
The Tom Leykis Show. Tom Leykis.
Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. Scott, hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Scott.
Yeah, the last guy that called is the perfect example of what happens to you when you do drugs all your life. You know, this guy, of course, he's lucky to have made it to 60, but this guy had not one coherent thought in his brain. I mean, every time he tried to make a sentence, it was like, something out of a Cheech and Chong movie. I mean, the guy sounded totally stoned, and he was probably stone cold sober. I mean, this is exactly what happens to you. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm no saint. We've all done our experimentations and stuff in the past, but, some people grow up and move on,
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with Rush, I mean, there's nothing I hate worse than a hypocrite. Thieves and liars and cheats, that's one thing, but there's nothing worse on this planet than a hypocrite. And I hope he gets all the punishment that he's professed, over the years for just for being a hypocrite.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be some punishment, if only from his own followers. James, hello.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Okay, James.
I've been listening to your show for the last 3 years. I've actually been told that I'm the second coming of you.
Really?
And so I enjoy the show a lot. But this is probably the first time where I've sat and I'm thinking to myself, enough already. The hypocrisy goes on both sides, on the left and on the right. There's people in Hollywood.
This is not a reference to whether people are left or right wing. And I happen to believe that Both Republicans and Democrats want to spend as much of our money as they possibly can.
True.
They want the biggest possible government they can have. They just want to spend money on different things, but they don't believe in small government or personal responsibility. Republicans lie about believing that, and Democrats don't believe in it at all.
And when it comes to Rush Limbaugh specifically, I think of the bigger picture, his contributions as far as his show, him being informative. Granted, he's a hypocrite on this issue. I look at the bigger picture, and it just seems like the feeding frenzy that they finally got the man who they've been targeting for, who's been untouchable for so many years, to jump on him like
He hasn't been untouchable. He's been criticized in any number of ways over the years.
But if he was not as popular as he is, he would not be the $250 million man.
This is the equivalent of Dr. Laura's nude photographs being found. It's the same. It's the same kind of thing. You're on the air saying one thing, but in your personal life, when it suits you, you do something else.
And I don't know that Rush. I'd never heard this. Taking your word for it, that he never drew a distinction between people that are on painkillers and a crack addict under a bridge. But I wanted to bring up one more point real quick.
I have 10 seconds.
Since we're being real honest, how much of this has to do, your advertising idea has to do with